come on. Guys, good morning. Sorry, we're just a little slow getting up here. It's 7 a.m. here in Vancouver. Elijah is out in New York, and so it's a couple hours ahead. So he looks a little more awake than we are. But yeah, good to have you today, Elijah. Good to have you on the show. Everyone that's going to be joining us, I'm just going to let kind of YouTube and Instagram and Facebook kind of let everyone know that we're live. But yeah, good to have you today, Elijah. Good to. All right. Yeah. So if you guys are joining us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well now, let's get Elijah in there. Let's view him and get him in here. Okay, awesome. Yeah, welcome. This is our daily YouTube, Facebook Live, also Instagram now, where we have, course creators, experts, professionals just joining us and just having a chat, just like sharing stories about online course creation, everything like that. So yeah, that's what this is all about. So if you guys have any questions, this is the best time to ask them.
Yeah, definitely. Right? So Elijah, I know your big thing is about setting goals and putting together great habits. And I know there's going to be a lot of people, certainly that have, either had the good intentions of starting a course, perhaps haven't really sort of seen it through to the end. And obviously I know there's going to be a lot of people that probably want to know like what they could do to sort of like break that. So, I mean, I'm definitely excited to hear more. So tell us a bit more about yourself. Elijah, and like what you do, what you specialize in, and then we can sort of go from there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I live in New York. I lived in a different part of New York for half of my life, which was more like the Hamptons. If you ever heard of the Hamptons, I grew up.
That's the fancy part. Yeah.
I grew up there like at a younger age, and I moved like right into like a very typical New York City, like the rugged like. Gangs and stuff, and it was like a culture shock for me, and that was like my big transition. And then when I was 16 in high school, I started a business to teach people how to be themselves, because I was always different. So when I grew up in the nice neighborhood, I was the black kid with the white kids, and I grew up in the black neighborhood, I was the white kid, quote, because I was black and I was like acting like a white kid in that neighborhood, and it was always like a controversy, but I was always me, and I always found ways to resonate with whoever was in the environment and bring the natural aspects of them out. So I'm having like gangsters talking about like funny Disney movies and having like other people talk about weird stuff. So it was always like natural for me to do that. And then where I am now, what I really focus on is teaching people in general how to transition their life to the life they actually want. Because less than 4 years ago, I was in a completely different situation than where I am today. And it was all by my design. It wasn't by anyone's help. It was really just by that self-education, that discipline, getting down to reading the books and making yourself responsible for your life. And that was something I always lived by. So that's really where I am now. And that's really how this course comes into play with the conversation we're about to have right now.
It's really interesting because a lot of people will generally have a lot of people say that they have like a mentor, someone that they've been able to from throughout the times, but you've been able to like almost like self-mentor and like rigorously stick to those actions that you need to do every day to grow as a person. So what was it like? So how did you actually sort of go about sort of teaching yourself? Just library, internet? How did you do that?
A little bit of both, actually. I was always inquisitive about people, so I really studied people. Ever since I was little, I wanted to be a psychologist and I wanted to have my own practice. So coaching and all those things came after that. Because I remember I made the distinction when I was 11, right? I was like, I want to be a consultant, a coach, or a psychologist, but I never wanted to prescribe medicine. I just wanted to talk to people and help them figure things out. Because ever since I was little, I'd talk to like my friends' dads. I would really spend time with the older siblings. Like I'd be cool with my friends, but I'd try to find his older brother. I'd try to be like build things with his dad just to like understand the mind. So I feel like that's where it really started, like asking the right questions, asking inquisitive questions of like my grandparents, my friends' grandparents, and always asking those questions to get that other perspective, that wiser point of view, because most times people don't know through experience, they just know through what they think works. So like getting that other perspective is where it started. And then the catalyst that changed my life was one night, the business I had before was I used to throw events, art galleries, music shows. I used to do that. And one night at like 3 a.m, in New York City, they have these things called dollar vans. So if you get off the train, the buses don't run frequently. So there's another van that could take you quicker. And they started playing Earl Nightingale.
We got a guest here.
One
Mimi.
second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dog?
Yeah, see me. It's all good.
Yeah, they started playing Earl Nightingale, and I got intrigued, and I was like, okay, this is stuff I like, and I found out his name, and that's where like the self-development research started, of like understanding what that was, that industry, and then I realized that was an industry that I could do versus doing what, because I thought I had to become an artist to create like change in people's lives. I was looking at it from that standpoint of like I had to create a brand, create a business, turn into like an artist, like maybe like in that particular time was like Wiz Khalifa, like that type of, to bring a movement behind me. I was thinking in that capacity. And then I found out Tony Robbins, all these people. I was like, wait, this is an industry. I don't have to go to school in that capacity. I can do what I do and turn this into a business, because I understand business. And that's where it really started snowballing.
Amazing. So that's like that penny drop moment. Like,
I mean, honestly, when I first started working at Thinkific, was the first time I actually got into it. I'm like, oh, there's online courses. There's this whole world of like sharing knowledge, and like, you know, there's a whole business behind it. So.
Yeah, and do you know what? He never ceases to amaze me, just like how big this industry is. And you know, even when I was at CAPS, Canadian Association of Professional Speakers last night, like my goodness, there's just something. There's a speaking topic on
anything,
any subject, any subject. So I think like for anyone that's out there that's, you know, either they're in that sort of procrastination loop right now, or they're trying to get themselves out of the rut and they're trying to take those first steps. And have a think about it. You know, there's a lot of great opportunities out there, and you know, and you can do just what Elijah, you can self teach. You know, give yourself some small challenges and some small tasks daily to go and achieve for your long term plan. But Elijah, like, how did you start mapping that out then? What's like that very first process to getting those habits in place?
Well, all right, let me put a little insert. Tony Robbins says there's 3 S's, right? And this is their strategy, their story, and then there's your state. We often go to the strategy, and that's where people fall victim, because for me, I was always the why person. That's how I'm able to say, that's the answer, is why. You have to know why you're doing it. If you don't know why you're doing it, you're not going to take the right action. Because a lot of people want to lose weight, but they don't know why they want to. So they just go to the gym, but there's no real determination. There's no compelling reason to do it. So their habits aren't consistent. They can't consistently do it because there's nothing really driving them. And that's the level that they hold themselves to. So if we focus on strategy, we'll never fully consistently do it because there's no reason to do it. And we don't know how to change our energy to do it or use our energy to leverage it. So an example, we all know successful people. They have that morning routine, right? That's how you start. You have to start your day the right way. If you don't start your day off right, normally it just leads somewhere else. So most people move the biggest rock first. You do the hardest thing first. So for me, what I have been doing for the last 3 months, actually, because I'm about to launch my course January, was every morning I'd wake up and record a presentation. Like that's the first activity I do. At 8 o'clock, I go into my office and record a presentation. So it's like I'm already starting the day off with the strongest thing, with the main thing. And most people just don't have, because that's also what I'm teaching, is the discipline in knowing what to do. That's where people have the issue. They don't know what to do. A lot of people are building courses right now, building these activities. They don't know what activity to do. Like, oh, I built the course. Okay, now learn from the course. Look at it and see where you can make it better. See how you can improve it. Make some time to reiterate questions, have people test it out. There's a lot of things that we can be doing in our lives that we just don't have the awareness to do. So for me, breaking it down was really knowing the why and reverse engineering as often as possible, but looking at that as often as possible as well. So twice a day, I review my long-term visions, my monthly visions, like the main targets. And then I look like, what can I do today to get that to be now? How could I make today me living there now? How could I move like that? How could I talk like that? How could I dress like that? How can I spend my money that way? How could I walk that way? Talk like all of those things today, even if it's something small, like something small I'm practicing now is eye contact. Like I have really good eye contact, but now it's like, okay, how can I use that eye contact to be my communicator versus me saying anything? Like I could let them know from me looking at them. And then I practice that. I'm like, that's a very important part of communicating, of teaching, of speaking, is 80% is nonverbal. So learning how to use those things to be more of a influential individual. So it's like little things.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's all the little things. Even us, like eye contact that you mentioned, it's like always trying. We're doing a lot of videos now. It's like trying to look at the actual camera.
Yeah, we got like a little yellow post-it note just under the corner of it and just under the camera.
Yes.
So always
virtual eye contact. Yeah. I want to say what's up to Pat Rock. Hey, Pat. Always good to have you here. Join us on YouTube Live. No, this is good. This is good. Good topic. I think a lot of people just like these little habits. There was a point in my life when I was like, when you talk to somebody, and it's like the best. I think I heard somewhere like the best thing people can hear is their name. So I made like every time I talk to somebody, I like try to say their name like 3 times. So I'm like, hey Patty, nice to meet you. How's your day, Patty? You know, and it's just like saying. So yeah, all the little habits, man. So what's a couple things? So you do every morning. You're doing a daily presentation, like you're recording a presentation for your course. That's incredible. I think that's great. That's a good way to do it. So what are like some other like, you know, maybe daily habits that an online course creator, you know, that's just starting out can kind of implement easily into their day?
Well, okay. I love this because this is how I look at life. Everyone, we were born with the responsibility of ourselves. So we were born with the business, which is ourselves. We have to manage our relationship, our time, our energy, our effort. We're always the CEO of our life, right? So course creators sometimes are artists and not necessarily business people. So they forget like the self-management part, where it's like a lot of it has to be, you have to learn to manage yourself in a certain capacity, because now you're becoming responsible for your energy output and not just going to an office, not just going somewhere. Like you're responsible for what you have to do. So I look at the day in 3 parts we're always responsible for, which is when we wake up, a midday, something like whether it be lunch, whether it be like a reset, and then how we end the day. So I think when we look at those 3 things, it's how we become most effective in that process, because how we start the day, what activity you do, that's depending on you. You want to start your day in the best way possible for yourself. You want to have your midday reset allow you to continue to expel and use your energy in the best way possible. So whether it be lunch and talking to your wife, talking to your best friend, you want it to help you continue through the day. You don't want to have your midday, your lunch, whatever that break be, you don't want it to drain you. You don't want to take energy away. And how you end your day should prepare you for the next day. So that's how I look at it in that way. But for course creators, for people in general, it's really just taking the time to really look at where you can be more effective, because it's really the small little things, because it's death by 1,000 cuts concept. It's the little things that we're doing that we're not paying attention to that subtly bring us back to different areas, because especially being a course creator, the entrepreneurial mindset, all of these things are not socially acceptable. They're not social norms. So you saying anything, it's a whole mindset shift. It's a whole different way of thinking. Like as you guys are saying, as you're experiencing and seeing this whole world of teaching, it's completely different to the average individual. Completely different. So when you're shifting that understanding of how I use my time, what am I doing, how am I doing this, it allows you the opportunity to really maximize your efficiency. So for course creators, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, it's really learning what is the best thing I can do in this moment and finding a way to do it at least one time every day. That's why I record the course, because that's the most important thing that I need to be doing once a day. Even if I do nothing else for the rest of the day, I made sure the most important thing was done.
That's great.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And I think if for those that again that are stuck in that loop, or maybe having like just difficulty getting started, don't know where to start, just pick that one task and just break it down into what you need to do to achieve it. And then once that's done, then you can either call it a day or move on to your next thing. Yeah. But that's some really good advice. You know what I found interesting though, Elijah, when you mentioned about, you have like your midday reset, and I think a lot of people tend to just keep working through the day. Like they'll just keep working and working and working, and perhaps not, like you said, like have that like perhaps purpose or real reason why. So like you saying that you have a reset, you talk to your partner, you talk to your friends, and you like replan for the rest of the afternoon. I think there's something that's definitely been lost in this fast-paced world of today.
Yes, that's 100% true. Because even in like Europe, and I know the Caribbean cultures, but I know definitely in Europe too. A lot of my clients are overseas. They do a lot of, I don't know what time it is, it varies, but they will stop everything. Like stores will close, they'll go home and then come back. So it's like that communal sense is definitely needed for us to allow us to maximize, because it's about efficiency. It's about effectiveness. We all know we have, most of us, luckily, especially nowadays, are able to enjoy our life. So we don't need those things, but it's like many people don't. So when they have those things, it brings that sense of awareness. So when they go back into that thing, because remember, state is the most important thing. How you feel energetically is what's going to impact your work. If you're sleeping, if you're lack sleep, lack energy, you're not going to be as efficient as if you're happy, as if you just talked to one of your best friends or had a good laugh. You're going to approach it differently. So that's the part we often leave out of everything we're doing. We're just like, we got to get it done. It's like, that's a good habit to have, but you also want to work on your efficiency, because most successful people eat healthy. They have the gym, they have the trainer, they have these things that we're not paying attention to. We're just seeing the outcome. We're not seeing the team of people behind them, making sure their energy's good, their environment's good, that there's no distractions, that they can focus on what they're focusing on.
That's important to remember, because there's a lot of certainly there's a lot of like Hollywood stars and celebrities and stuff like that have, they work out for 6 weeks for their role, and then they're like, I'm ready to play Superman.
Yeah. And you think they just woke up.
And exactly. No, it's like, so they have the right people, they have the right mindset, they have the right attitudes in place.
Sure.
So is there any like single piece of advice that you could give someone who's just like they're having a really, really bad day right now, and they just want to get their bum in gear.
Yeah. Or somebody that's like,
you tell them? Or maybe someone is like really quite successful but needs to take it to the next level and doesn't know where to go next.
Yeah, fantastic question, man.
That's a great question. And okay, I think I'd have two different answers, because it's like, there's a proverb where it's like, you will tell one person to go do something, like to take action, then you'll tell the other person to stop. And it's like that kind of concept is where it's like the person who's doing nothing, you would just tell them, do something that makes you happy. Do the smallest thing you can do, right? Whether like you can go on YouTube right now and just watch like funny videos, because you have to just build the habit of changing your state. Successful people know how to do that. They know how to get, like if you see salesmen, they know how to get in that environment where they're like, yeah, pumped up in any moment. And that's that power that successful people naturally have oftentimes. So for someone who's in the rut, do something that makes you happy, then come back to the activity. Because Brendan Mashard mentions in his book, High Performance Habits, one of the things is having a break, like taking a 15-minute break to like just get yourself back together so you can refocus. So those little things help a lot. So just do something that makes you happy, integrate that into your day, because that's going to allow you to shift your energy. And for the person who's already successful, looking for how to achieve more, you need downtime. You need downtime. As much as you don't think about it, as much as you think you need to work, Einstein actually made his greatest distinction while he was sick. Like while he was in the middle of sickness, like not working, that's where like distinctions happen. Bruce Lee, when he got injured, that's where his distinctions happen. It's always when you have that space, because that's when the creativity creates itself. That's the space for it to actually happen. So
that's great advice. And that reminds me of someone's Instagram post recently, Rob.
Oh, there you go.
About was it the restrictions, creativity?
Yeah.
From restrictions.
That's right. Yeah. So like innovation is from just lack of like resources. So I think if you just like step away, you become more innovative, right? So if you have everything you need, then you're not really coming up with new ideas. You're just like, well, I'll just like spend more money on this tool or like hire more people. But if like you don't have all that, then you have to come up with some new ways of doing it. So that's great, man. I think everyone needs to step away every now and then. I know Patty goes for walks, right? Like you take Mimi for a walk just because you have to.
I used to smoke. I quit smoking. Now I just walk my dog instead.
You just walk your dog, yeah. So just changing up the scenery. Yeah. So yeah. No, that's great. I want to step back to where you said like every day you kind of look at your long-term plans, and is that just like a way to check in, like that all the little things you're doing is connected to your bigger plans, 3 years, 5 years down the road?
Yes.
The third idea? Yeah.
And it also reminds you of why you're doing certain things. Because oftentimes people, like, if you ask most people why they work, they've worked for so long they forgot.
Mm.
So like most individuals, like when we think about society, they've been at their job for 5+ years. So when you ask them why do they work, like what do you do at work? They've been so lost in the minutia, they don't even know how to, like, they don't know why. So it's always having that other level of vision. Because it's also a good example is you think about employees and you think about the managers and you think about the supervisors. There's always a different level of perspective. But if you don't have the ability to look at each level by going to look at it, like Elon Musk walks on the floor of his business, so he knows each level. Most people don't know each level of their life. They're just stuck at one point and they never take this time to look at 30,000 view, 10,000 view. They don't do that. So I feel like it helps you step back, because a lot of times our discomforts, like an example, course creators, they get overwhelmed because they're inside the course. They're not talking to anyone. They're not finding out information. They're just inside the course, and it gets overwhelming. But you have to step outside and have that one day where you're talking to the people that inspired you to create the course, why you created the course, what's your intention, how do you want to serve people? Because then it reminds you, okay, this is why I'm doing it. Okay, boom, back on track.
Nice.
Yeah, that's some great advice there, because we do see that people getting lost in lost in that course creation process. And what I tend not to do is to actually go and get feedback from their students on like why, either what's good about the course, what's not good about the course, and then what I could do to improve it. A lot of them just seem to get stuck, and I think that's where that whole like procrastination loop, that perfection mode starts creeping in. Yeah, because done is always better than perfect. So if you're out there and you're in that place right now, just like stop what you're doing and just go send it to like five people and say, can you give me some like honest feedback? You can send it to mum and dad, family and friends, but I wouldn't recommend it unless they're special. Like, exactly. But get over to your friends and or people you know can give you an honest opinion, impartial opinion, and let them know. And I think I was watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It was around like copywriting. My copywriting's not the best, but it was around copywriting. And this guy told us, like, when you write the copy, and I think this is very true for a course as well. When you start writing it, it should, and you present it to someone and say, look, read this, that it should make you go, like, wow, that is like me through and through, or that's the thing that I've been trying to fix for like the longest time. And if you don't get anything but that reaction, then then
go back.
Then you're on something. But if it's anything else, just like, it's pretty good. It's like it's not quite there. But
oh, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, this has been like we usually really dive into like strategies and tactics and like how do you market and how do you create, but I mean this is really important to really think about for like not just course creators but entrepreneurs. It's just like mindset and taking a step back, big picture. Why are you doing it? And I think it's really true. A lot of people just start working and like 5 years, 10 years, you're like, why am I work because I work. That's like what I do every day, right? So it's like, but why, like, and then so that like I guess 10 years passes and you're not like, oh, what did I do?
I do
with my life, right? So, but I think as course creators, you're really empowered to make a big difference.
Yes,
because you're creating something that will essentially like change, like even just like a little, like the trajectory of someone's life, like a little bit. They'll end up somewhere else, with the content, the wisdom that you're sharing with them. So, that's fantastic, man. Tell us a bit about the stuff that you're building. Big plans for 2019. What's going on?
Oh my God. All the 48 states road trip. Let's start there.
Really?
That's what's gonna happen. I just bought the car for that Friday, so that's perfect. Prius.
Nice. Prius, of course.
Yes, of course. Launching the program in January, and the program's pretty much around all of this stuff, but teaching people how to transition. So it's more like, it's really the bulk of someone changing their life. So like I'm talking about like energy releases. I'm talking about how to deal with anxiety, stress, how to release anxiety and stress, money, health, relationships, like just pretty much all of it, so people can be because a lot of people are jumping into things, but they don't know all aspects of it. So a lot of people are entrepreneurs, but they don't know how to manage their life. So when like they don't understand that there's expanding and contraction aspects, people just know like work, but they don't know you have to contract, you have to go to the spa, you got to go do cryotherapy because you want to maximize your output. And then by the end of next year, I will be living in the Caribbean. So next year is really just focus on program, travel, and then getting out of this country.
Caribbean's not such a bad place to go, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah, right.
It's funny. Nice. I moved away from London just to come for the rain of Vancouver.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. No, man, that's super exciting. I can't that's going to be huge. So travel all like 48 states in a Prius. It's going to be exciting. And then writing a program, creating this course. Yeah.
Yes.
So when's the course going up? Just a little sneak peek and a little accountability.
Definitely launched on January 21st.
January
21st. Awesome. Sounds good. Well, there it is. It's official.
It's official. And we got Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Pat, he says, whoop, whoop. We're in the Caribbean. Let's do a Thinkific meetup.
Yeah, let's do it.
Pat loves to travel.
Pat loves to travel.
Anytime we've got a meetup, just like,
I
want to go there. I want to be there.
I think Pat going to go to Chiang Mai with Tom, maybe?
Maybe.
Are you going to speak at that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like us. We're always looking for excuses to travel. So if you want to do a meetup in the Caribbean, maybe there's a couple guys here that can help you out.
We're there.
Fantastic. Awesome. Elijah, thank you so much for your time, man. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you, get more of your content? Where's the best place to connect with you?
Everything is Elijah Jetson.
Elijah Jetson. Awesome. Cool. Everything. So Instagram, Facebook, are you Twitter? Pinterest?
Everything.
Not Pinterest, maybe. Sounds good. Okay, well, we'll drop all the links in the comments for Elijah. Connect with him. Stay tuned for his course coming out on January 21st, 2019. And stay tuned and just watch him on his travels and on his journey next year. So again, Elijah, thank you so much for your time. It's been fantastic.
Cheers,
if you guys have any questions for us, for Elijah, just drop in the comments. We'll answer you guys there.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Elijah, cheers, mate.
Cheers.